Dolly.
Hey y'all, and welcome to Stivers Homestead. I'm Zach.
And I'm Jen.
And today is one of the more exciting days of the year. It is seed haul day. We're planting gardens, we're figuring everything out, and it's getting deadly close to get started on a bunch of seeds. But first, we want to do the unboxing of what we've purchased new this year. Now you are seeing just our new seeds, so we have a bunch of them. And there'll be some that still hit our garden that are from previous years past, but we wanted to show you all the new stuff we got because we know a lot of y'all are out there purchasing as we speak, so this will give you some good ideas.
Yep, so grab your tea or your coffee and let's chat.
First off, you're going to see all of our seeds from Haas Tools. We love Haas, we love their seeds. It's all right here in America. We went down and seen their headquarters. We love them. So besides being a company we love, we're very good friends with them as well. But the number one thing that I like about Haas is it's keeping it simple. And that's a lot of our concept that we've had with our gardens over the past few years. Is keeping it simple, make it prolific, and have plenty of food to preserve. And you know, with Haas, you're not gonna have 2,000 different tomatoes to choose from. You're gonna get the best tomatoes to choose from, the ones that are gonna give you the biggest yields and have the most preserving for every category of plant there is. So I wanted to start there, and then now I think it's time to get into these seeds.
Yep. Okay, so if you have been following for a while, or specifically since last fallish, I think is when we got our meat chickens. We put them over in our garden area after we cleaned it out, and we let them start tilling up a spot. They did a fantastic job.
They did.
And the whole reason for doing that is because we're doing something a little bit different this year. We always have flowers in our garden, zinnias, marigolds, calendula,
sunflowers,
all the beautiful things, but they're kind of like mixed in with everything else just to add a little bit of beauty. This year we're doing different. We're gonna have a whole plot for flowers, some flower herbs, but mostly just beauty flowers, with the hopes of potentially selling them.
Yep.
So we have our little store, and we're not, gonna be a flower farm right off the bat, but people love beautiful flowers and they love stopping on their way home to grab a bouquet to take home. So that's our hope. Also for pollinators, obviously, and just beauty for us.
Yeah, I love making bouquets too, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's jump right into this.
Yeah.
So hang on, how it's kind of going to, we have a lot of flowers. We both have a handful of them here. So we're going to kind of hit them quick, and then we'll talk about some of our favorites.
Yeah.
So hang on with us.
So I'm going to start with the Benari Giant Pink Zinnia. Absolutely beautiful. We love zinnias. Icy Queen Zinnia.
I'm a zinnia man.
Benari Giant Orange Zinnia.
And while we're on those, I have the Benari Giant Purple Zinnia.
And I have the Giant Wine Zinnia. Beautiful. And this is the Giant Scarlet Zinnia. Absolutely gorgeous. Black oil sunflowers, very good for your animals, but also very gorgeous.
Yeah, so that's actually you can grow food, right?
Yes.
So bird feed, and then for your animals, we actually, we haven't done it here, but at our previous place, we would buy a 50-pound bag of black oil sunflower seeds to mix in with our feed because it's great for their coats. It's just really good for them to have. So you can grow beauty and food for your animals.
It's really good for chickens too.
Yeah.
Mammoth sunflower, which we grew last year and absolutely loved. We saved all of the seeds from ours, and that went really well. And then Snapdragon Tetra Mix. Who doesn't love a good Snapdragon?
And then from my end, one more zinnia, which is probably one of my favorites. It's the Key Lime Pie Zinnia. You get these pretty white and then also lime green colors that are in there. Because zinnias are very prominent to be the pinks, the reds, the purples. And I really like the oranges, the whites, the lime greens. They really pop in a bouquet amongst all the different other colors. Also got some cosmos. These are just fun to plant. These are kind of one of those things that Raylan loves to plant. They're very easy to grow, so if you have kids wanting to put some beauty in there, throw some cosmos in their garden. And we're getting into a mix of quite a few sunflowers. This chocolate cherry is always a stunner. I mean, it's a showstopper. This is an autumn beauty sunflower mix. So we got these specifically for the cut flower reason. So we'll probably do a whole row of these guys because you're going to get a bunch of different colored sunflowers all in one packet.
The autumn beauties we actually grow every year, and
yeah,
they're just gorgeous.
Let's see. Here is the Pro Cut Plum sunflower. These are really pretty. The White Knight sunflower. Oh my gosh, I love white things. Now, the only issue with white flowers is as soon as you get like one bug, it ruins it. So you got to really stay on them and get them cut as soon as they open, so you can have that perfect non-touch
Also
white.
splatter too. If anything splatters when it rains, it can turn them ugly real quick. So you just got to be very responsible about watching them.
Because then they look like they're dying because they just have any kind of color. A red lemon bicolor sunflower, so a lot of really beautiful stuff there. And then here's calendula. Y'all know we have calendula every year.
Always.
This is what we make our salves
We
out
always
of.
add to our calendula patch, always.
Always. It's it's part of our business. So if you're not growing it, definitely do it. It has so many benefits for you. And then lastly, some marigolds. So I've shown you this. It doesn't have a picture on it. It's marigolds, but we always plant marigolds with our tomatoes because that helps keep some bug pressure away. And they're pretty and bring pollinators to you. So that is all the flowers. That was the biggest one.
Not all the flowers.
Oh, no.
There'll be more flowers.
The new flowers. This is all the new packs of seeds that we bought. Okay, so we wanted to get the flowers out of the way because that was a lot of flowers. So now we're going to do it a little bit more precise, and we're going to start with cold crops. And so these are the stuff that you need to be starting like right now. I should have mentioned this. We are in zone 6B. Don't trust your zone so much. It's more of just a general rule. Always trust your last frost date with your zip code because that's when you're going to get the better dates. However, most all zones need to be starting this stuff right now. So we have a savory king cabbage and then a stonehead cabbage. This one doesn't have a picture. But the stonehead cabbage is probably one of our favorites. The savory king, that's going to be a new one for us this year. So we'll see how that goes. When it comes to your cabbages, that's the biggest one with bugs. You know, it's hard to kind of grow these to get them to full-size heads. So you want to be prepared to have them protected. Sprayed with your neem oil, your BT, anything that you need to put on there to make sure that you're keeping them protected.
Yeah, and one thing with these cold crops that can really help is if you have some sort of a greenhouse. So we've already got ours started, and they're not going to be ready to go into the ground yet. However, we can up pot them and move them to our greenhouse with a heat mat and a heater out there, and that will really help them to grow before we put them in the ground. They'll be like really decent size before they even go into our raised beds. So it doesn't have to be a big greenhouse, just something that you can force some heat into and give some moisture and give it that greenhouse effect to get them growing.
That's right.
So we're also doing the Godzilla broccoli. That's one that we do every year. We really, really like it. And this one doesn't have a picture, but it's the burgundy broccoli. It's really beautiful. So
Purple.
Yes, so we're excited about that one. Twister cauliflower is always one of our staples. We love twister cauliflower. And the deep purple cauliflower. So it doesn't have a picture, but this one's new to us. Like I said, we've already got all these started, and we're just really excited about them. We also started some, did we start greens yet? No, we haven't started greens yet.
No,
but we're going to start some spinach and some more lettuce. And then later on, like in a couple weeks, we'll probably go ahead and start some beets and radishes because we do start those from seed instead of just direct seeding. So it is that time if you're ready to get this stuff going.
And I just realized one that I don't think we have out here that I know that we purchased and I thought we planted is broccolini.
Yes.
So Haas has this type of broccoli that doesn't come to one full head. And honestly, it kind of looks like it's bolting. And you have a bunch of little bitty heads, but it's not bolting. It's actually how it's supposed to grow. So you're actually able to come cut those little bitty heads off. And so it is a little easier to grow in that sense because you don't have to worry about that head holding strong and not bolting out in bug pressure. So that's something to maybe try. It's called broccolini on their site. And one thing to remember too, with basically all of your co-crops, I'm thinking about it. I don't think there's really any that not the entire plant is edible. So what I mean by that is you don't just have to worry about that head. Like the broccoli leaves are good, the cauliflower leaves, and the cabbage leaves, all
Beet
that.
leaves, radishes.
Yes, all of it is good to eat. So just make sure you're not just focusing on the main product there. Use everything the plant is giving you. All right, so next up, we're kind of going by the way that we plant things. And so next up is our squash family. And the reason we plant that they're one of the first things that hit our summer garden is because of bugs. So we try to get them out there very early, as soon as we possibly can, so we can get some good yields out of them and before the squash bugs come.
Yes.
So that's something to kind of keep in mind. A lot of people do it one way or the other. They go real early or they go real late into the fall. Now, I would suggest if you have the room, do both. Get you out there early. If the bugs take over, don't stress out too bad. Let them die down and then replant them for a fall harvest. That way you have it at the beginning and the end and not so much in the middle. But starting out here, we have our Spineless Supreme Zucchini. This is the only one we get every year. We like it. It's good. To us, zucchini, right?
Yeah.
And this is a good one. Next up, we have a Gold Prize Squash. And the next two are more of your winter squashes, which is a spaghetti squash. If you haven't grown these are fun. They're fun to cook with and do things with, other than just like a butternut squash, which we have here, because you can really turn this into a bunch of things.
Yeah. And both of those, if you grow them and then cure them, let them dry, and put them in a cool, dark place, you will get to keep them for all winter long. They will not go bad. So that's kind of one of those things, you know, for your family, if you really want to stock up on and grow a lot of, or you can grow a lot of that for your animals as well, because it'll stay good all winter long.
Yeah, if you have animals, that's a great point. Always be thinking feed. And when she says you can put them up all winter, like, we actually mean it. It's not like people telling you can put potatoes in a dark space and they're not going to sprout, because they always do. These really will last you all winter.
Next up is our pumpkins. We love growing pumpkins for our animals, but also just for the beauty and the fun. You know, we love our porches. We sit on them all the time. We have the steps that lead up and down to each one, and our store down there that we just love to cover in pumpkins when it becomes that time. We start putting pumpkins out in like July, because it just makes us happy, makes us ready for that fall season. And it's always something that people talk about. They love to see our pumpkins in the different kinds and the colors and the styles. So, and then when we're done with them, they go to the animals, which is wonderful. That becomes feed for them.
Such a good treat. And it's fun for kids too. This is another one that kids like to grow. They like to be involved with, because we all take our kids to a pumpkin patch, right? I always wanted to grow our own pumpkin patch, and it's a lot of fun to do.
Yeah. So we're going to do this super moon pumpkin. It's a beautiful white one.
We're trying that one again this year. Last year we grew it. We had some pressure with animals and stuff, and then I had one beautiful one. It was perfect. And freaking Rusty used his tooth and just took it all the way down the side. I wanted to just end it there.
He thought it was a ball.
He did. He did.
We've got the half pint pumpkins, which are so adorable. We've got blaze pumpkins.
So you got a little yellow, a little red in there.
Diablo pumpkins.
Probably your most standard pumpkin patch pumpkin right there.
And porcelain doll pumpkins. So another one that we'll add are the beautiful baby blue. I think they were called Cinderella.
Cinderella, and then there's a Bayou one.
Yes, Blue Bayou.
Yeah, Blue Bayou. Those were really pretty. They grew really well. That was probably our top pumpkin variety that grew out. And so it's just fun to mix up all the different colors. You know, you don't want just all orange. You want to get some whites and blues and pinks in there. So that's our pumpkin. That's the new ones for the pumpkin patch this year.
Next up is our melons. So these we will direct sow. Zach always wants to start them from seed. I prefer to direct sow them. I just feel like it's better that way. I feel like we have a better yield every year. So when that time comes, I'm sure we'll argue about it, but we'll see what happens.
We're going to have it this year. Because last year I did it all her way. And things were fine, but there was some that I wish we would have started. And so we're just going to have it. We're going to split it right down the middle.
So these are the new ones. However, we grow all kinds of melons. These are Georgia rattlesnake watermelons.
So these are your classic ones. They're very big, huge watermelons.
Honey rock cantaloupe. We absolutely love cantaloupe. We tell the kids that it is winter watermelon, and they eat it.
Yep.
And sugar baby watermelons, which is always one of our favorites. There's no picture. I don't know what I'm showing you.
Sugar babies are nice. They're like a basketball.
Yeah, and they're personal size. They're very beautiful and very juicy and good.
And the sugar babies you can actually grow in an arch. And we do that every year. They never seem to break off of it. So if you're trying to control space, sugar baby watermelons are definitely ones that you could grow up. Now, I wouldn't do that for the rattlesnakes. The rattlesnakes can get really big. They need to lay down. So those are some of the new ones that we needed to get. We've actually grown all of them before, but we were running low on those in seeds. Some other melons that we'll be putting in our garden are Kajari melons. We love those. They're kind of like a cantaloupe, but maybe a little sweeter, maybe a little juicier. Let's see. I like honeydew. Sorry, I went completely blank there. I love honeydew, and cantaloupe and honeydew are two really good things to grow because of the electrolytes they provide. If you think about drinking a Gatorade, you're trying to get that up. It's terrible to drink. Really, you could just eat a cantaloupe, and that gives you the electrolytes of like you would be drinking a Gatorade. So if that's something you didn't know, try to grow those a little bit more. They're great for your body, and they really give you what you need that you're wearing out.
So this is a new gourd seed that we got. However, we are growing also loofah gourds. That's one of our staples every year. It's part of our business, and it's always one of the most lovely things in our garden. So there will be loofah gourds. We will do a birdhouse gourd, and then this one is a speckled swan gourd.
It looks really
cool. So that
cool.
one's really pretty, and I can imagine it gets pretty big and can also be repurposed as a birdhouse gourd as well.
Yeah.
So that will be fun. The kids love gourds. They love watching them turn out to be what they be, and it's just a really fun experience. One of our most important things in our garden each year is our beans. Now here in recent years, people, and including us, have had a little bit of trouble with beans. There's just been a lot of bug pressure. They will start eating them from the moment they germinate. So that's been a little bit rough. However, last year our first round wasn't as successful, but our second round became really amazing. We were able to can up a lot. So our favorite one that we did was the Haas's, what's it called?
Haas Green Blaze Bush Bean.
It's a mouthful.
Say that 5 times fast.
Haas Green Blaze Bush Bean. I just say it really slow. But they're awesome. They produce like crazy. Even when you think they're done, you'll go out and they'll just be everywhere. So that's huge for us to freeze and can.
Yeah, and these were brand new at Haas last year. And so this is only the second year that we've ever been able to grow them. And I'll tell you one thing, they canned perfectly.
Yes.
They didn't turn into mush. They kept their snap, and these were awesome in there. So Jen loves bush beans. She loves to grow bush beans, and I get it. It seems that we could definitely get more yield out of bush beans than pole beans. However, I'm usually the one out there in July harvesting these bad boys. So I'm also going to grow us some Kentucky blue pole beans. We love these. They're actually kind of obviously native to Kentucky from where their creation was, and so they always seem to grow well here. And so we like to grow them out there. Allows me to give my back a break so we can grow them up. So,
yes.
But we love them. These are the only 2 varieties we grow. We want to make sure that this isn't like fun time. Right. This is food time.
Sometimes we might throw in a little Chinese noodle bean just for fun,
yep,
but not every year, right? Just kind of depends on the room we have left, and if we have some seeds, we'll just throw it out there.
Yeah. Next up are cucumbers. So for the longest time, all we ever grew was be it alpha cucumbers. That's the only ones that we like, and we still grow them. But those are specifically for our slicing, for our daily use. Yes. You know, throwing a little Italian dressing on them for the kids and stuff, and that's what we like to snack on. But when it comes to preserving and canning for pickles or anything else that you're wanting to make, we like the National Pickling Cucumber. We grew these last year. They're pretty fantastic. A new one we're trying this year, and the reason we got it was because of its size. So if you're trying to grow and preserve whole pickles, it's nice if you can get the ones that maybe don't get huge like 2 days after they go. And apparently this Expedition cucumber is like that. These are supposed to be really good for whole pickles, and I really like that. I think this year we're going to try to get away from the sliced pickles. Yes. We want to do more whole pickles and spear pickles because you can kind of hold your crunch a little bit more.
Yeah, and we might, excuse me, we might do more fermented pickles as well. Yeah. One thing we can attest to these national pickling cucumbers, they're not also great for canning, but they freeze dry really, really well. We freeze dried a bunch of them, and now we pull them out to put in our water to rehydrate, and it makes it taste like spa water, and it's amazing. So that's another good use for them.
Yeah. Last thing, the Be It Alphas are self-pollinating. So even though you're not seeing those here, if you want to grow them in a greenhouse, you want to grow them inside, different stuff like that, you can, because they'll pollinate themselves. They do not need bees or pollinators to come give them that. Now probably our arch nemesis in the garden, crime. So we have 2. We have Peaches and Cream and Silver Queen. These are both our 2 favorite sweet style corns, and we got a bunch of seeds of them. So last year we had this whole planned out. It's actually ended up where we grew our pumpkin patch.
Yes.
But we had this whole plan. We was going to do them in a raised bed because we've done them before in a raised bed. But the birds ate all of our seeds. And, I didn't even think about it. I was like,
every one of them.
Yeah, I was like, why is this not... I mean, corn's easy to germinate. Like, what's going on here? But the birds got a hold of it. So we're having to reassess exactly how we're going to do this. But we will win. We will figure this out. And corn is another one of those great staples to go in there. No, they don't have all that nutrition that every other plant may have. But these are great in so many ways. They're good fillers if you need something to eat. They're great. They're great to add to stuff, any kind of soups and stuff. It can give you some more filler there. And worst case scenario, they're great for the animals. Yep. Corn is almost in every animal's feed in some form or fashion, whole or dried and grinded up. So keep that in mind. Corn is a good thing to try to grow. It's fun to grow. Who doesn't like a little corn patch?
Yeah, so maybe if you want to comment with some suggestions, we're thinking some kind of nets maybe to put over when we plant the seeds. I swear it's like they watch. They sit in the trees and they watch us plant the seeds, and then they come for the corn.
Yeah, every time.
Give us some suggestions. Comment maybe what you've done or what you've seen, because we really want to have a good corn year.
Yep. Last year, we had the best okra year that we've ever had in our entire lives. It was fantastic. We grew 3 different varieties. One was a hybrid that we actually got local here at our farm store, and the other 3 were from Haas tools. Now, I love okra. And okra is one of those things that you actually do have to be really precise on when you're harvesting. If they get too big, they're not edible. They're tough and you can't do it. But it is a staple down here in the South. Now, also with okra, some are a little stingier than others. And what I mean by that is when you're harvesting them. Some have a few more spikes than some of the others do. And I tell you what, nothing breaks out my skin more than okra.
Yeah.
So, out of all that we did last year, we learned and we figured out the one that doesn't hurt too bad to harvest, and 2, we like the taste the best. And so we're going with one variety this year, and that's the Clemson spineless okra. We've done the burgundies, we've done all of them, the red ones, the green ones, the like light white ones, and this is the #1 out of our garden every single year. So this is going to be the only one this year.
Yeah, we love okra. It's such a good filler for soups and stuff. Fried okra is great in the summer, awesome. But throughout the wintertime, we freeze dry, we freeze, we've canned it for frying, and it's just, when you need to grab something, okra can fill really quick, and it's really tasty.
Yeah, and it's also like a staple for pickling, too.
Yes.
Pickled okra is, that's a southern staple for sure.
Okay, we saved the 2 favorites for the last.
Hopefully you didn't fast forward to get here.
Right. Peppers and tomatoes. So we're going to start with peppers first. We love our peppers. We always have an amazing pepper year. Last year wasn't so amazing. We still aren't totally sure what happened. A lot of them just got stunted. Maybe they were too early. Maybe the soil was bad. We don't know.
My best guess, besides that part, because we did have some rough soil, we had that with a lot of things, so we're going to fix that this year. But pepper specifically, it was cold.
Yes.
The first part of our summer.
Yeah,
we didn't get hot until like mid-July.
Yeah.
And so that slowed them down. We finally did start getting quite a few peppers.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we had a good yield, but it wasn't like other years. So.
Yeah. The year before that, we had peppers running out of
This year, we're kind of zoning in on the favorites and just really going to focus on those, not get them out there too early, and just be better about it.
Yeah.
However, we have already started some seeds because we do sell them as well. So we need an abundance to go ahead and get started and not wait till the last minute. So Cal Wonder Bell peppers, that's just a regular green pepper that we love very much. You know, our son loves them. We use them in everything. There's usually a pepper a day around here. So if we can cut that out of the grocery store, that's great.
Absolutely.
Some Colossus jalapeno peppers. We love jalapenos. All the different kinds of jalapenos.
We'll also be growing the Craig's Grande jalapeno. That's one that's in there. We really like those.
Mm-hmm. The Gold Rush banana pepper. We love banana peppers. We usually turn these into pepperoncinis because they're really good. And then the Lola banana pepper.
And I know you're probably thinking, why don't you just grow pepperoncinis? Funny enough, we actually like the pepperoncini juice, the pickling juice itself. We like it better with the banana peppers.
Yeah.
The banana peppers are a little bit thicker in their skin layer, so you get a nice snap with them. And so we use the pepperoncini flavoring to pickle our banana peppers. And if you've never tried it, it's really freaking good. All right, also poblano peppers. We love having these. We love these fresh, so we like fire roasting them over our gas stove, and just adding them into a lot of different recipes.
Yeah, I will say we've tried to freeze them. They didn't come out the best, so it's not really a preserving pepper for us. It's more of a fresh eating.
Now, that being said, this one is a preserving pepper, our cayenne pepper. So we did the long, slim cayenne pepper. We make seasoning out of these, so we'll dehydrate them and then we'll crumble them up into dust, and then we'll have plenty of cayenne pepper. This is probably the hottest pepper that we're going to grow. We don't like a lot of heat. Usually jalapeno as far as we've gone. We've grown some like Sugar Rush peppers in the back that were pretty hot. Time Bomb peppers last year that were real hot.
Never again.
They burned those up. We ate them on video one time. Woo-wee! But we like this one, Tabasco pepper. So it's not overly hot. I would say it's probably close to jalapeno pepper, to be honest with you. But this is fun for hot sauce. We like growing this to add into our hot sauce. Now here's where we mess with people. Because people think we're growing habaneros. And we're like, yeah, man, go eat you one. Well, it's roulette heatless habanero. There is zero heat whatsoever. But it's a really wild sensation when you eat it. Oh, also, these are very prolific. You get huge yields out of these plants.
That's probably one of our most prolific peppers.
Absolutely. When you bite into it, it feels like you're about to get lit on fire.
And you can taste it. You can taste the heat, but you don't feel it.
And then it just,
Yeah.
there's no heat.
It's
and
wild.
It's such an interesting pepper. The heatless habanero, and then another name from other companies, habanada. And then there's the jalapeno, but it's no heat. What is it called?
Not a pino.
Not a pino, not a pinos. So if you've never grown any of those hot peppers, not hot, it's pretty fun to grow, and we really like these just for eating too. Yeah. Okay, tomato time. So it is time for us to talk about tomatoes, but before we show you what we got, I wanted to talk about Haas and their tomatoes specifically. So if you've never heard of indeterminate and determinate tomatoes, that is a thing, and it's probably one of the biggest mistakes that newish gardeners do. So we normally go to your tomato plants, right? And you're either a pruner or not a pruner. Well, there's a big difference on what you need to do between a determinate and indeterminate tomato. An indeterminate tomato means there is an endless amount of fruit that can be grown. So you can keep pruning, that plant can keep going high, and it's going to keep setting flowers, and you're going to keep getting as many tomatoes as that plant stays healthy. A determinate tomato means there is a determined amount of fruit that is going to come from that plant. Now, the reason that sometimes that you like to have these is because those yields are really, really big. But the thing with that is you do not want to prune them. You don't want to be a big pruner on a determinate tomato because you're losing fruit. You're not going to be gaining from that area. One thing I've noticed with a lot of seed companies is they do not specify if it's an indeterminate or determinate tomato. Well, Haas does. Now, it's not on the seed pack. Greg, we need to get on the seed pack. But it is on their website. So when you're shopping for the tomato, in the description, it will explain to you if it's an indeterminate or determinate tomato. So just make sure you're watching out for that anytime you buy a tomato from any company. Know what you're getting and know which one you want to grow.
Yeah, and it's a simple fix. We can go through the website and write on here which one it is so that when we plant it, we know.
Right, exactly. So let's get into it. Start us off, babe.
All right, so he's got his stack, I've got my stack, in no specific order, but this is one that we have in our garden every year. It's one of our favorite ones, and that's the Mortgage Lifter tomato. So it's just a beautiful producing tomato. You'll get a big yield, and they're one of the favorites for everyone. Yep. We also have the Better Boy tomato. So I don't know about your area, but in our area, that's one of the favorites. Everybody always asks for Better Boy, and where we sell some of our starts, we always have to have those on hand. Celebrity tomato, also one of our favorites. And Chef's Choice pink tomato.
So on my end, I have the Haasinator tomato. It's a big, beefy one. One of the fairly new ones from the company as well, but they're very good. The Chef's Choice orange tomato. So you'll notice we don't have many that are different colors than red or pink. However, when it comes to slicing, I know I prefer yellow.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, so yellow, it's a little bit less acidity, but when it comes to preserving and canning, we like to grow all of the big red ones. We also have a big beef tomato. This is also another good slicer. And probably one of the biggest tomatoes that you'll grow, red snapper tomatoes. Now this is a determinate tomato, but if you let it be, those tomatoes grow so big. Like you want to get close to a 2-pounder, that's the ones that are going to do it for you, the red snapper. We also have the Henderson pink ponderosa tomato. There's no picture on this one, but that's a really delicious one that we grow. And then finally, the pink girl tomato. Some other ones not mentioned are like the pink oxheart that we absolutely love to grow.
We do some beautiful heirlooms as well, and those are for us and sharing with our friends and family. But you know, we have those ones that we grow every single year, like the pink oxheart and the Bonnie Best, and some of our absolute favorites that we throw in there. So these are the ones that are kind of our beautiful heirlooms that we always kind of grow, and we'll go off and purchase these to have in our garden every year because we love them so much. So this is the Ananas Noir tomato.
It's so good.
The Rosella is our absolute favorite cherry tomato. We'll grow other ones, but this one is always the favorite, and we always do like 4 or 5 plants of those. The Abe Lincoln.
Another big meaty tomato.
The pink oxheart, like we were talking about.
My favorite slicer.
Yes.
I know I just said I like yellows, but that one is my favorite slicer.
Bonnie Best is my favorite canning tomato of all time. Dr. Witchies, obviously. Everybody loves Dr. Witchies, or however you say it. And Thorburns Terracotta, also one of our favorites. And last but not least, Korean Long.
That one was new with us last year, and we really liked them. They're not like, I almost thought it was going to be like a cherry, but it actually is pretty big in size.
It's kind of like a saladette kind of tomato.
Yeah, and that's what we use it for.
We also did can them though.
Yeah, we did. That's one thing too. Don't be a hater on what you can. Like whatever your plants are producing, can it. I actually kind of love having some of our tomato sauces, throw some different colors, some yellows, some purples in the mix with the red. Really makes for a pretty jar and tasty food.
Yep.
So there you go. That is the seed haul of 2023. Now some of the next steps that we need to do. What Jen and I like to do, it's her doing it that helps organize me so I don't start stuff too early or too late. We'll take all these seeds and we'll put them in individual baggies, and she'll write down like the month that we need to start them, and she'll kind of write the beginning or the end. And so that's important to do. You know, like for example, tomatoes, you want to be like 6 to 8 weeks away from your last frost, 10 max, depending on the size of tomato that you want. And then just, it kind of varies between all the different varieties.
Yeah.
So that's something, as we'll get going, we will definitely show you all on how we do that. And one big thing that you may have noticed was there were no herbs in this seed haul, and we are known for our herbs. So what is going on?
Yeah, don't be crazy and think that we're not growing herbs, because we are. But herbs are so special to us, it's hard to throw them into our regular seed haul.
Yeah.
So there'll actually be a separate video just for the herbs, for the tea garden, for the things that we're going to grow, we're going to add to and make into our yearly herb cycle. So those are very important to us. A lot of those are what builds our business. So
Yeah.
they get their own video all by themselves.
Right, exactly. And so stay tuned for that. There should be plenty more garden videos that are coming after this, and we're really excited to be back in the garden.
Yep.
So y'all, if you're new around here, hit the subscribe button for us.
We love ya.
Until the next one.
Bye.
Bye.